Hi, I'm Jeff from carbuyingtips.com. If you've been to our website before, you know we have lots of great information on how to buy a new car or a used car and all of the scams you're likely to find. But what do you do once you've bought that car and then you start to have battery problems? Well, we created this short tutorial video here to help you out. Now, to get you up and starting very quickly here, we're just going to do the first part of this video will be how to jump start the car. Then in the second half of the video, you stick around and we're going to have lots of great information for you on how to buy booster cables, how to buy a battery, tools and things that you should have in your car with you at all times. Okay, let's get started. Okay, before you get started, remember folks, safety is the #1 thing to keep in mind. Anytime you're operating near a battery here like this, batteries can explode because there can be hydrogen gas in there. So you want to make sure you're wearing some type of eye protection like this, or you can wear sunglasses or regular glasses. Now, just for ease of creating this video, you won't see our actors wearing them, but you should be wearing them when you do this, okay? Also, no smoking. And the #1 big thing here, too, is if your battery is cracked or swollen, you don't even want to bother to jump start it, because that's a high risk of exploding. It's, game over, you lose, you got to bite the bullet, and just have somebody buy a battery and deliver it to the scene and just put the new battery in. The first thing that you want to do is bring a good car up to your dead car and leave enough space so that you can work around in it. There is a specific order that you want to connect these cables in to prevent sparking and shorting out of the cables. So step 1 is you're going to connect one of the red ends of one of the cables to the positive post of the dead battery. So here you can see it's already connected. Now you're going to move on to step 2, which is you're going to connect the other end of that red cable to the positive post of the good battery. And while you're still there, step 3 is you're going to connect the first black end of the cable onto the negative post of the good battery. And back here on the dead car, you're going to connect the other end of that black cable onto a shiny metal part of the engine block or on the metal chassis. Don't connect it to the battery post because we want to prevent any possible explosions or sparks. And here's another example here where we found a nice shiny bolt sticking out of the chassis. Any of these will work. As a sanity check that you connected the cables right, your dome light should come on the dead car. So now let's start powering down everything on both cars. Make sure that all of the lights are off on both cars. You want to unplug all of your power ports, all of your cigarette lighter adapters. Turn off your car radios on both vehicles. If you have your air conditioner running, you want to turn off your air conditioner as well. Any radar detectors, make sure those are unplugged. Basically any device should be unplugged, including your iPods. Start the engine on the good car and run it for 5 minutes to charge the battery on the dead car. I like to try method #1 first. What we do is we try to charge the dead car's battery first, and then we turn off the good car and see if the dead car will start on its own. This is the safest method to protect the electrical system of the starting vehicle. So if this fails, I then try starting method #2, where you try to start the dead car with the good car's engine running to give it more power boost. Now that your dead car has been resurrected, you can disconnect all of the cables in the reverse order that you connected them up. As a sanity check on the resurrected car, I always like to run the engine a few minutes, then turn it off, hold my breath, and see if it will start again on its own. So I made this chart here for you that shows all the different types of cables that you're likely to find out there. Now these aren't actual sizes, but they're sort of relative. So we'll start here at the top. At 2 gauge cables, this is what the professionals use. They use this to start the big rigs, and the big tow trucks use this. And these cost about $200, so they're out of reach for most of us, but they'll handle about 600 to 800 amps cold cranking. 4 gauge, these are the ones that I buy here, and you should be able to pick these up between $35 and $50 in the stores. These can handle 400 amps plus, and this is why I prefer these over any of the other ones here, because of the current capabilities. This one here, a 6 gauge, it will handle 300 plus amps, and I still prefer to get the 4, and I would not recommend that you get either the 8 or the 10 gauge, but unfortunately this is what you find too many out in the discount stores, and people try to skimp and try to save a few dollars, but I tell you, don't do it. This one here, the 8 gauge, can only handle about 150 amps, and who knows what the 10 gauge can handle, because they don't even tell you on the package. And I only buy cables when the package tells me what sort of power amps it can handle based on the gauge. So there you see 400 amps with an 18-foot cable and 4 gauge. That's what I like to buy. And also I look for 100% pure copper. That means you're going to get the most amount of current transferred. So here you can see the difference in the quality and the thickness of the cable here. This is the better cable here. This is 4 gauge. This is 10 gauge, and you can see this is almost twice as thick. And not only that, when you have the thinner gauge cables like these, they're often not as long. They're typically about 6 feet to 12 feet long, and so for that reason that can be a problem if you need more length. These here are 18-foot long cables. And also, if you take a look close inside there, see that's 100% pure copper there, and just very well manufactured. Nice big thick clamp, it'll really grab on. And this one here also has glow-in-the-dark stickers in case you have to do this at nighttime. This here is a plug-in-the-wall battery charger and engine starter, and what this does is you connect these leads up to your battery, plug in the unit, and it gives you a 10 amp rapid charge, and it can charge your battery in about 10-15 minutes, and then you switch it over to this 50 amp setting here, and it's enough to give you a 50 amp quick jump start, and it works every time. This is a digital multimeter. And what this does is it tells you the exact voltage of your battery. This digital multimeter, it's a $20 model. I keep one of these in my car. And this takes the guesswork out of what's wrong with my battery. So you can see as I connect it to this battery here, it's telling me 9.3 volts. It tells you exactly what it is. So it can tell you what's wrong with your car battery and what exact voltage it's at. Okay, so here you can see I'm going to measure the voltage of my car battery here. And you can see it's coming in a little bit over 12 volts, so you know you have a good battery. And with the engine running, you can see you should be looking at 13.6 volts minimum, and that's good. And again, I'll switch the wires to show you. It doesn't matter, you'll get the same reading, but you should be seeing 13.6 volts minimum. And the reason for that is it has to be greater than 12 volts in order to charge your battery. If you're not measuring that with your engine running, that means you might have something wrong with your alternator or your voltage regulator. This is my car battery here. You can see I keep it nice and clean. And when I buy a car battery, I always like to go and buy the biggest, baddest one I can get my hands on. And what I look for is the highest number I can get for the cold cranking amps, which you can see right here on the battery here. It's rated at 700 and 875 if it's warm outside. Now you can see here, even though you still see the caps on the batteries, most modern day batteries are maintenance free, so you don't add liquids in distilled water like we used to in the past. Alright, let me just remind you that if you have the YouTube app on your cell phone, your smartphone, download that app and bookmark this video so that you'll have it. You don't want to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere with a dead car or not knowing what to do. You'll want this video on hand. Especially all of you college girls going off out of town and with maybe out in the middle of nowhere, you want to have this video handy. Now this should be a required item for anybody that goes out of town on a long trip. This is a portable power station, and this one actually does AC power there too, as you can see. And it has cigarette lighter outputs, and this will also jump start your car. And as you can see, we're going to turn it around here on the back side, and you can see it also does an air compressor as well. So this is a nice little tool to have that can fix an array of issues. Every car should also have one of these brushes here to brush the terminals off your battery, because you know they're going to be dirty. Now this here is actually, I'm using a plumber's pipe brush, and this will clean the posts of the battery and clean off any other dust and dirt.